Okay, welcome to the February 7th meeting. The agenda, I'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum present and we'll move right into the closed session. And just to review the proposed topics for discussion in the absence of the public will be legal A and personnel as B. So that's the meeting be closed to the public on the basis of matters considered under the following sections of the community charter, and where required, the council does consider the matters could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality if they were held in public. So according to section 90.1, and that is A, C, and N. So with that, we'll move right into close. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Okay, thank you, Marina.
Do we have a recorder?
I just point out, there's a speakers list there if you wish to sign up.
Oh, okay.
No.
Where is it?
Okay. All right, welcome everyone. It's 7:01, so we'll start the meeting. Do I have a motion to come back into open?
So moved.
Okay, second,
Yes.
all in favor?
Yes.
Carried. All right, as mayor and chair, I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to those in the gallery and also joining the meeting by Zoom. Welcome to the staff. First, on behalf of the council, I'll report out from the closed meeting. So first announcement. It's with deep sadness that I share the significant loss for our village. Effective this evening, acting CAO Anthony Tobin has tendered his resignation. I would like to also note that together we have beaten down a good man, a gentleman, a wise man, and an accomplished man. And worse yet, we have beaten down a fellow resident. The following are but a few of his many accomplishments that we have chased out of our council and in personal attacks and innuendo, and incivility and condensation. Anthony Tobin was called to the bar of the Supreme Court of British Columbia in 1982. Anthony Tobin provided strategic counsel to the Ministry of Attorney General on issues such as institutional abuse. Anthony Tobin, after 8 years as Crown prosecutor, established his own law firm in Vancouver. Anthony Tobin acted as a counsel on judicial review and statutory appeals before the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals in British Columbia. Anthony Tobin is an accomplished mediator in areas such as inter-organizational conflict and employee and employer conflicts, to name a few. We should all be ashamed of the part we played in his treatment and the resulting departure. It's a big loss to the village, in my opinion, and I think many others. So, second item out of closed is our building inspector, Dave Butler, has also resigned. We thank Dave for his many years of outstanding service to the village of Lions Bay and so many residents. I look forward to casual walks and talks with Dave again on Lions Bay Avenue, as I've done for the last 10 years. So sorry to see Dave go. We'll be reaching out to identify replacement services for Dave's role. On a positive note, our CAO negotiated with Mr. Germscheid, and Mr. Germscheid has accepted and agreed to the CAO's agreement as the new fire chief for the village of Lions Bay. In addition, we will be reporting out on the Lions Bay connector, and that was moved from closed to open in this meeting. So with that, item number 4 is the adoption of the agenda. And do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Could I just speak to the announcement briefly? That
Sure. Of course.
I approached Anthony Tobin to consider taking on this role after I met him in September. I was impressed with his love of the community and love of the village. And I was quite surprised, and we had ongoing discussions during the election period. And I was surprised when I asked if he would consider this position, and did not think that, I know each of us interviewed him in our own inimitable ways, and we're very impressed with him. And I was very ecstatic when he took on this position, and I'm just very disappointed that he was unable to continue with it. But I'm blown away by the number of things that he's done for us in the 6 short weeks that he's been with us, in terms of identifying, issues with banking, budget, getting people in place to provide the budget, which was not in place and is still not in place, and some of the people he's been able to attract. So he's identified some real vulnerabilities in our community, and I think he's made a real contribution. So I'm very disappointed that he has not been able to continue, but really wish to extend a real warm appreciation for the time that he has given us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Reuter.
I'll add to that. I wish Anthony well, and thank him for his time here, and appreciate his input, and I'm sure we'll be moving ahead to trying to fill that spot. We have several spots to fill, so I presume that will be occupying us quite fully from this point forward. Yes.
Yeah, I likewise wish Anthony well. I didn't know him as well as some. I'll leave that the comments to those who knew him better. Which was good, but yeah, wish him all the best.
Okay, thank you for those comments. We'll move to item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
I've got just one thing on the verbal reports. I think we agreed we can. I did speak to Ron Miller this afternoon in a meeting, and he said I could advise that he doesn't have a budget or banking report for tonight, but he's getting fired up, and he will be in the next meeting. And then the Lions Bay Beach Park Advisory Committee, we've met once, nothing to report there, and then the Climate Action Committee, we're trying to tee up the first meeting, so there's nothing to report on those. So I would suggest we could remove the verbal reports if everyone's in agreement.
Okay, I'll just add to Ron Miller. He will also be attending the bank at 11 tomorrow morning. I'll be joining him, and we'll be speaking with one of the investment advisors to see if we can't get better return on our $5.8 million, which is in a low interest account currently and has been for the last, I'm not sure how long, but that will be, according to the bank manager, that we'll have that moved hopefully by tomorrow, with Ron's signature going on that account, as well as others here in the room. So that's the only thing that I have to add to that.
Just a point there. There are limitations as to what we as a municipality can invest in, and I'm sure Ron Miller will be
I'm not
aware of those.
I think we passed a resolution that said municipal, what qualifies as municipal investments. And
yes,
the bank's aware of that.
Yeah,
so
very good.
Ron will follow that direction.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to dispense of the reports. Is that
verbal reports.
okay? Motion to dispense of the report.
With that
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Carried.
And then we have formally adopted the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, did we do a motion on that?
We did with those removals. Yes.
With the removals,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the public participation. So we'll open it up to the gallery or those online.
Did you sign up? Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do online first or?
What would you like to do here? Yeah, why don't we?
Mine's very
this time?
quick if you want.
We have Casey Dyer,
Yeah,
Karen
Karen Dyer, yeah.
okay, Karen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Excellent. I'm just not sure that I heard this correctly, so I just want to direct this question to Michael, because Michael just said that he spoke with Mr. Tobin about taking on a position in September, but that position was filled by Mr. De Jong until he resigned or until he was asked to leave.
No,
so was there
correct,
an
correct that I met Mr. Tobin in September. And
Just said,
I spoke to
Michael,
him
that
about-
you asked him to take on the position in September, and that position was filled until like, the
misspoke.
election hadn't taken place then.
I misspoke when I said that. If I said that, I apologize. I did not speak to him about the position until Christmas time, actually.
Okay, so it was my understanding that Peter De Jong's last day was December 16th. So you didn't speak to him until after Peter De Jong was gone. Is that?
That's absolutely yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay,
We have-
did someone from the gallery want to speak? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Join the podium and announce the name.
So I'm Tanya Cosgrave, for those of you that don't know me, but I think you all do, seeing as we ran together for council. So really quickly, one, I'm incredibly sad to hear that Anthony Tobin has resigned. Hats off to him after witnessing the last council meeting. To be honest, I'm not surprised. I felt that his treatment was terrible. And I wish him all the best, and I had hoped that he could stick it out and brave through all of that until we got over the hump, but it wasn't meant to be. So hopefully we can find a good replacement for him, and we wish him well and thank him for the time. So all I want to say tonight is that from what I've been witnessing, whether it's online or whether it's in the council or verbally in the community, is a lot of divisiveness between residents, between council members, etc. And I'd love to see everybody, before they open their mouth to speak tonight, that they think about what they're saying and make sure that what they are doing is for the best interest of the village. Please put personal things aside. It's for anybody to have their personal feelings come in the way of what is best for the village. I'm asking that of the online people as well. It goes for everybody. Please be kind and do what is best for the village as a whole and put your personal disputes aside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca.
Okay. Rebecca. We'll go to you.
Hi there. So before I ask, I actually have two questions. I had always asked questions kindly, so just to preface that, really, the reason, we're able to ask questions, we should be asking questions, but I do agree they should be for the best of, the best of the village, as should what the council members and the mayor are doing. Anyway, on to my questions. First of all, when you're hiring, are there employment equity targets for the village? And my second question is, with this latest news, will the interim or permanent CAO position be posted this time?
Maybe I'll start and we can go. Employment equity, I think these positions are interim in nature, so, but that's a very good suggestion, and I'm sure that'll be factored in. Well, we've talked about forming an HR committee, but in all honesty, it's been interim positions, and really we've been going through a process of getting to know each other and with the staffing changes and so on. So, but that's a great suggestion. The CAO's role previously passed over to the CFO, and I would expect the same thing, but we haven't discussed that as a council. We got notice from Anthony today, so I'll pass it to the other council members to speak or for a response.
I think you said, I don't think we've, as you said, we haven't discussed it, so that.
Yeah,
Anything else to add, to be honest?
It's very new.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
thank you. That was a great suggestion, the equity portion. So
and to your point regarding questions, I think that we're all very, very much valuing questions and people seeking accurate information. My only issue has been assumptions being made and things, and I'm not speaking to you at all, and doing that. Your questions have always been respectful and on, on target. So that's the I think to maintain a real respectful debate, I think we need to be hard on issues. This is a community of very passionate people who love the community. And if we're not going to agree on everything, but we need to really value one another. So thank you for your comment.
thank
Thank
you. Marina, next.
Nobody.
No one. Okay. Is there anyone else in the gallery that would like to speak before we move on?
Could I make a quick comment? I'm sorry.
Sure. If you don't mind just taking the podium and announcing yourself, just so everyone can.
James Mole.
Okay.
Just speaking to your dealing with the funds that are in the bank of the village. In the past, of course, a 0.25% interest is not worth getting. However, now we're getting 4.55, I believe, at the bank. So I don't know where that money is going to be invested. I don't know where you want to put it, but invested at 4.55% on $5 million, you're looking plus or minus $200,000 a year in growth in that money. So that in savings might be a good place to have it, seeing as it's more or less zero risk.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any others in the gallery that would like to speak before we move on? Okay, no one in the gallery here. Okay. Okay, Casey, we'll take a second question since
That's Rebecca.
no one else stepping up, or unless you're,
Thank you. No, I'm still asking.
okay, all right.
Okay, sorry, I just wasn't sure if I should lower my hand. I'm still working
Yeah,
on
no
the
worries.
tech here. Well, the question that I was going to ask to begin with, I got a little thrown off by what Michael said, but what I was going to ask to begin with, and now like is even more concerning for our little municipality is, since the beginning of November, this council has experienced a worrying spate of departures. Councillor Barmier resigned December 9th. That was less than 6 weeks into the term. And this was immediately followed by the termination of Peter De Jong, and his last day was December 16th. Then we lost 2 work staff, Kyle McCallum and Clint Everton, on January 6th. And then Pamela, our CFO, Pamela Rook, who we all, as you know, valued so highly, left on January 18th. And now Dave Butler, after 26 years, Dave Butler has had his hand on every house in this village, I'm quite sure, including mine, has resigned just this week. And then you tell us tonight that we've now lost Mr. Tobin. I'm just wondering if what you attribute this catastrophic loss of staff to over such a short period of time.
I'll let the other councillors take a crack at this and then I'll comment.
Go ahead.
No, hi Karen. Yeah, I'm going to choose not to comment. I think given the mood in the room at the moment, that it would be wise to speculate on that. So I'm just going to choose not to comment. Hopefully don't engage everyone in a debate.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
Michael, any comment?
I think that some people are finding change very uncomfortable in our community. And I'll pick up on Councillor Abbott's comment that I think it's a bigger debate, and I don't think it's appropriate right at this moment in time. I think that's a big question. And I would defer it to a later time, but I definitely have very strong feelings about about what has precipitated it, and would be open to that kind of discussion at the appropriate time.
Councilor Ryder?
Yeah, Karen, it's hard to answer that one right now without engaging in a debate, but I would say that it hasn't escaped anyone's notice here that there is a degree of dysfunction in our room here. And I think we would do well to bring in a facilitator. There's been some exploration on that front. There are resources available, and it's something that I think we would all do well to pursue. And I'll be sharing those with my colleagues here at some point. I think an email had gone out to that effect. So I think that would be a wise move and something I would look forward to doing, so that we can become more functional and do the business of the village in an effective way and deal with the situations we have before us.
That's great. I just, in response, I just wanted to say I wasn't, I had no intention of like setting off a debate or creating a, you know, an argument here. I'm just looking for an explanation. I'm just trying to understand what's going on.
I'll just comment and that I do believe change is difficult. There's no doubt about it. You know, we've, but as a group, we want the best for this village. That's why we're all serving. That's why I committed to serve, because I want the best for this village. So I think we can do better. I think this is a sad evening, and I hope that all of us have a chance to reflect and serve the community the best we can. So thanks for that question. Is there any other questions from the gallery at this time? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I beg your indulgence. I should have put my name down, but I just got a short
Not a problem.
housekeeping issue.
Yeah.
And actually, it is a housekeeping issue because it's our house and we hope to keep it. But as you probably know, you probably don't know that I canvassed our neighborhood today to find out how many people were at 1040 last night, thrown out of their beds, house shaking, even up above us 800 feet and all the way down to Lily Bolus, who's 900 feet east. And after trying to get hold of CNN, I actually had better results with the BC Rail with a man named Chris. I did get a number from council to call, which I did. And CNN promised to phone me back, but they have not. But I said, if we have to once more have the same thing that happened last night, which is what they call a hard join. The south train is going this way and the siding is there. They bang the cars together. We've been listening to that for 40 years. It's no big deal. It doesn't do much, although our neighbors next door have a cracked window. But last night was beyond anything that we've ever experienced, ever in the village. After 40 years, it shook our whole house, windows, paintings, a kilter. And the Haxton's daughter, who happened to be sleeping with them in the front bedroom, shot out of bed and said, "Mom, the house shook." Lily said she felt it, and Haxton's also felt the house move, and they have a much newer house than us. But if we go through that one more time, we will have cracks in the foundation. We will sustain damage. And somehow or other, they can't do this again, because last night was, I'm just so pleased that Max and Susan Wyman weren't home, because it would have devastated both of them. As a train would have sounded like it was coming on top of them. It was beyond belief. I can't describe the deafening noise nor the shaking of our house.
Mm-hmm.
So I've sent emails off to CNN. I've talked to Chris at BC Rail. I've sent one to you, to the village, and to all our neighbors. And we'll just see where it goes. I'm just hoping tonight we don't go through this again, because if we do, it will be devastating, because we will we will have something happen. There will be cracks in tiles, skylights will open up. You cannot shake houses like that. And so,
There was another, I was out on my deck, and was this at about the time the power went out?
10:40.
Yeah. I saw an explosion that looked like lightning, and I thought it was lightning, but it was actually emanating from the ground. And I think there were several events going on. I think
Yeah,
there was a
there was some thunder,
transformer
there was
as
some
well.
lightning.
Yes,
And there was power outages and flickering on and
Yeah.
off like it did before, but this thing that they do, you get a, what did you call it? A hot dogging engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thinks it's really fun to slam those cars back like that. Well, we know what the slamming sounds like. It's just a bang. This was beyond a bang, believe me. And all the way down to Lily, she said her words were horrific. Paxton's words were terrible. Ergotowski, what did Dora say to you?
Well, she commented that she now has a crack in one of their big windows.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Right.
there before.
So
Wow.
who knows where this will go? I just hope that we don't get this same person tonight.
All right.
Years ago, when I was a very small child, I lived by the railroad in West Vancouver. Our house was where John Lawson Park was. My father was so incensed, he took his 30-06 and shot the bell off the tree. So I don't have that.
We don't, we would not encourage that.
That's the job for the mayor.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I heard it as well at our end of the street. It was loud and, but yeah, I didn't see any cracked windows, but thank you for reporting that.
Thank you for your indulgence.
we don't have Nye with us tonight, but we might want to ask him to reach out and see what can be done.
Yeah, he's got some context there.
Yes, yeah.
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 That would be great. Could you keep us up to date on it?
Definitely.
That would be great, yeah. And anything we can do to, as Councillor Ruder was saying that Nye may have some contacts. So,
Okay, any other questions in the gallery? No? Okay, we'll move on to item number 7, review and approval of the minutes of prior meetings. And we'll move to 7A, the special council meeting, November 24th. That the special council meeting minutes, November 24th, 2022 be approved as circulated. We have a motion.
could I bring an item to a business arising from that set of minutes? I accept the minutes as they are, but I would just like to mention something in business arising.
Okay,
So
we have a motion just to discuss them.
So it move acceptance or move
Okay,
approval of those minutes.
Okay, and we'll have discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to move something differently, in line with previous weeks. We've got these recently. I haven't had time to look at them. I'm busy all day. I'd like to move that, but I'm going to be more clear this time on what it is. I'd like to move that these are postponed to the following meeting, not tabled, so that we lose sight of them. And we will have time to do that. And I'd like to do it on all of them, if we can do, put the motion forward, once
Okay.
for all of them.
All right, second.
I'm in agreement with that, and then we bring them forward in the next meeting.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Fine, postpone
Okay.
it, sure.
Okay,
And on
Yes,
a business arising from something that didn't happen, I know that's technically wrong.
Yeah.
Could we also suggest that we go back and all the other minutes that got tabled, I didn't realize that they're getting tabled as in disappearing from sight. Can we get them all back? Maybe we've got 2 weeks between council meetings and let's all get all these minutes done and behind us.
yeah,
Right, do a
that's
catch
good
up on
idea.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent idea. Okay,
Okay, let's look to,
Sorry, one thing, we'd need to know which minutes we're approving and have them in a timely fashion so that we can approve them at the next meeting.
we've postponed all of these minutes.
Right, but we are seeking to then do this bit of housekeeping at the next meeting. So we've got this set of 4. I presume we have others as well?
From the previous 2 meetings, yeah.
Correct, okay. So we'll have those then forward in the next meeting. Okay.
Okay, no business arising from the minutes. We'll move to item number 9,
minutes.
unfinished business. So follow-up items, highway maintenance follow-up. Councillor Broughton.
I've reported on this previously. I'd spoken to Miller Capilano's head of highway maintenance, and they seem to be on track for the report on the pavement that will be replaced for the 2022, 2023, 25 period. And the question that I had for him at the time was whether or not, because it's February 28th, it would go into this year's paving cycle or would delay it for a year. And he assured me that it would go into this year's paving cycle if they approved going ahead with the paving. I know people are quite concerned about the state of the so-called quiet pavement. So anyway, that continues in the works, and we should know in a couple of weeks what's happening with that.
Okay, thanks for that report. Item number 257, speculation vacancy tax. I reached out to the Metro staff, and they came back to me with the following information, which I'll table and we can put that in the minutes. But in a summary, speculation vacancy tax is a provincial tax designed to turn empty homes into housing for people in British Columbia and ensure the foreign owners and those with primary foreign income contribute fairly to BC's tax system. The speculation and vacancy tax is based on the home's assessed value and varies depending on the owner's tax residency. The tax rate is 2% for foreign owners and satellite families, 0.5% for Canadian citizens and permanent residents of Canada who are not members of a satellite family. The exemptions are available for primary residents, properties with long-term tenants, and a number of other special circumstances. And they go on to say, for more information on tax exemptions, you can visit speculation tax, provincial government, and there's a link to that. The new taxation areas starting January 23rd to the provincial government will be expanded. The area is subject to the speculation vacancy tax. So this means that the residential property owners in the expansion communities, such as Lions Bay, will declare for the first time in January 2024 for the tax year 2023. There was an article in the Vancouver Sun, for some of you that may be interested, on the tax expansions in January to the more communities in British Columbia, including North Cowichan, Duncan, Ladysmith, Lake Cowichan, Lions Bay, Squamish. But they go on to say they won't, those areas won't need to declare until the 2024 tax year. And there's more information here, and I'll table that, and we can include that perhaps on information on the website.
Okay. Could I add to this that I think that our move was to reach out to the and I understand we've got a full plate right now, but I do hope that we'll be reaching out to the provincial government. There was a suggestion last time that, or previously also, that that we might want to survey how many people in Lions Bay would be affected by this, but it actually is the case that everyone is affected. It goes to the value of your home. Our homes become less attractive as purchases if they've got a red flag on them, whereas if somebody were to sell, as compared to communities or homes in Strachan Point or Furry Creek. If somebody's looking to buy who might perceive that they're impacted by this, then those communities become, by comparison, more attractive. So I would argue that every home is affected by this, and that we should be perhaps using whatever context we can at Metro to get some help, but to reach out to the Ministry of Finance to litigate, or to ask as forcefully as possible that we, if possible, that we get an exemption for this. The language does address rural areas, urban areas, and we are now rural. So one would hope that there might be some possibility there. I think this goes to everyone's value in their home at this point. So I'd like to keep that moving forward.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to work with you on that. Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, interesting point. I was still wondering, as you were reading all of that, how many people that it actually did affect. And I'm still not clear in my mind. I know certain people that I know and their circumstance, whether they get caught up in this or not. There's several of them that I know are not wealthy. One person in particular, and really couldn't afford this. So yeah, I do value your point, but I still think we should try to get a better understanding of who it would affect. And it's not speculators. I still believe it's others.
Okay. Councillor Brown?
No, I think it's covered. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I would welcome the the additional outreach. So I think, and of course, village would benefit from any additional information. So
Yep.
that's great. Okay, item number 258, the acknowledgement of First Nations. And I know Councillor Broughton,
I have reached out to the Squamish Nation, and I've followed up with several phone calls. I think we're seem to be pretty clear that Lions Bay is in the Musqueam and Squamish unceded territories. So I've spoken to a number of people, and so I'll be bringing forward a proposal to the next meeting regarding an acknowledgement for council to consider.
okay,
Okay,
thank you for that.
thanks.
Item number 263, the appointment of election officials. Anthony Tobin having resigned, would imagine that will move over to the CFO to look after, and other staff. So, any comments?
Yeah, as you said earlier, it's been what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
And the next receiving persons.
Okay.
No objection to that.
All right, next item of reports, we have deferred resolutions, have none on the agenda here. We'll move to item number 12, bylaws, garbage recycling bylaw, number 455. Councillor Abbott.
I guess I'll have to work with the CFO because we don't have anything here. So
Okay.
I'll take it back to him offline between now and the next meeting. Find out how we get something drafted into the correct legal format. On the intent we put forward has been tabled a few times. We need the legal format done, and then we could read it and hopefully adopt it.
Okay.
Okay. Could I just ask a question? You were in meetings with the CFO today, or you spoke to the CFO today?
Yeah, one meeting with him. Yeah.
I'm sorry, a meeting. And did he give any timelines for budget in terms of we're now?
Yeah, we looked at the budget report we received from Pam, the previous CFO.
Right.
And he had that. Acknowledged he was behind. And that's when he told me there'd be nothing for tonight, but he's planning to have something for the next meeting.
Okay, okay.
But he acknowledges that whole sequence of events is now behind.
He has a timeline, and we're getting into kind of a critical timeline in terms of utilities budgeting.
Yes, utilities is going to be late.
Yeah,
that's a given. But don't forget that our utility bills go out earlier than they're required, and to give people an early bird discount in effect.
Right.
So there will still be an element of that, but it won't go out as early as it's gone in previous years, obviously.
Okay. Now, the finance committee typically, or one of their roles is to review the budget. So would we be setting a schedule for the budget committee going forward then, ahead of, in order for them to make recommendations to council?
Sorry, apologies. Jumping down the notes there.
Okay, sorry about that. Could we schedule finance committee meetings ahead of the as soon as the budget preparation is in a state that we could have a look at it as a finance committee in terms of making recommendations to council?
Definitely. I believe the Ron and the staff are working on that budget now, so.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as that's prepared, they've had, as I understand, a couple meetings on it, and that was one reason it's still in process right now, that it didn't come to us this evening, so, yeah. Finance committee would be a good suggestion.
Can I just circle back on something here? We don't have the guidance of a CAO here with us tonight, but did I just hear that by default, our CFO will become the CAEO, or do we need a resolution on table to move that authority over to him? I'm unsure of that.
We probably would need a resolution. We have to appoint by a resolution, correct?
Right.
Are we ready to do that? Do we even know
I
who's
don't.
up to it? Or-
I don't know if we're ready, and I don't know if we even know that. I know in the past, when the CAO was gone and Pamela Rook, CFO, basically took on the responsibilities and in fact announced in various meetings that she had those responsibilities. But I think that's something that we could discuss and, you know.
Except the chief elections officer is someone we need to appoint. So Marcus is right. We would need to appoint that person by resolution. But I don't think you can spring it on Ron with that first asking.
No, I think we need to speak with them and look into the legalities of it as well.
So as it stands now, then
We don't know what we do.
we don't know what we're doing, and we don't have a CEO appointed for a by-election at this point because of the resignation of CAO Tobin. Is that where we're at?
I don't think we know that.
Okay.
We have a CFO who has basically assumed the responsibilities of the CAO.
Right.
So if I remember correctly, we read at the time, we appoint the CEO, Chief Elections Officer.
Election officer.
One of the first things that person would do is appoint the deputy CEO.
Yes.
So if that's done, then we have someone in place. If not, I think Marcus has pointed out we might be in a bit of a pickle because the election clock's ticked, or has it? We should circle back on
It
that.
has been declared.
Let me just,
Yeah, I believe it's
let me
been
just
declared.
maybe add, look, as mayor, you know, I act on these things and reach out and try to seek sort of, you know, some options for us. So I did reach out to David Yarmish, who was the former CAO of West Van, and also was the CAO here for a period of about a year. And he was on the list that I gave to all of the councillors back in December, and suggested that everyone reach out. And so I reached out to him today just as a.
It's not Dave. I don't believe it's David.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't David Yarmish. Sorry, it's Grant McRadu.
Grant Radu. Okay.
But this is now to the CAO. We were talking about the CEO and the election, right?
Yeah, no, it's in relation to that. That's why I'm just filling you in.
Okay.
So I reached out to him and said, look, you know, we may have some issues coming up and we may need some support. And back in mid-December, he had expressed that he would perhaps provide some support. So he gave me positive feedback. I asked him, I said, how would that affect the election? And he said, look, that's pretty straightforward. He's handled these things in the past. If there's some area that he could assist, he'd be more than happy. But I said I would speak to council and we get back to him. So that's an option on the table, and there's no commitments there, but that's something that, you know, I've reached out as well. I think I mentioned previously or earlier, I've reached out to Bowen Island and also contact with West Van in regards to building inspectors. So, and the Board of Variance as well. So, you know, that's just something that I do and try to assist. And I think last meeting we had the discussion about the various individuals, you know, such as Ron Miller. So I'm open to any other suggestions.
Grant McGradu in the last go round had offered to do some pro bono guidance for us. Is this on the same basis?
He offered that the last time around. I didn't want to presume. This was just an initial call to say, look, if we needed to reach out to you, you know, would you be available? He said he loves Lions Bay. He, you know, enjoyed his time here and that he would try to help out. So I said, okay, I'll speak with council and we get back to him. But I think it's more of a, a support
So
role.
an expert.
And of course, if anything that would be interim until we secure and seek out in a longer term.
I would suggest that we're in a state of uncertainty as to whether the CFO by default assumes the role of CEO. And that perhaps you might seek some guidance on that, because I'm speculating, I'm just guessing that we would have to appoint him, just as we appointed CEO Tobin in that role. So we probably need some clarification of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll seek some clarification and
Okay.
and come back to the council.
Very good.
Okay. Let's see, next item. Correspondence, and Michael, I believe the correspondence has shifted over from Councillor Abbott.
Sorry, before we go to correspondence, we moved that item from close to open. We moved the item on the connector from close to open. Should we not be doing that before correspondence?
That'd be under
We do that
new
in
business.
the business.
New business.
I'm fine.
Sorry, I'm not familiar.
Number
with new-
14.
Or was it familiar with new business being after correspondence?
Should it have been in the reporting out?
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Well, why don't we tackle that in new business number 14?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
so correspondence.
Got swapped somehow, I guess.
Yeah, new business always goes before correspondence in my
Right.
4 years of experience. Anyway,
Branch out, which we're
That
trying
was a
to.
clerical error. Probably.
Somebody didn't want to be number
combination. I'll take
13.
responsibility for that.
okay.
Okay, correspondence that moved from Councillor Abbott to Councillor Broughton. So with that list of correspondence, Councillor Broughton will move over to you and
Okay, one of the most painful parts of the agenda has traditionally been sort of going through the correspondence. And so what I'd like to try to do is sort of highlight the correspondence based on the fact that most individuals have had a chance to read it, or if they haven't read it, they will if they are so inclined. So anyway, it's only been a week since the last meeting, so so correspondence cutoff was February the 2nd, and Councillor Abbott did the correspondence up until February the 1st. So I'm.
And in
picking up
full
on
disclosure, I am
items.
behind and I will be giving back to some people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff. Okay, anyway, so a number of the items on the agenda, he has either already dealt with or will be dealing with imminently. But I just wanted to point out that that which we pay attention to changes. So I'm pointing out that we have 3 pieces of correspondence regarding wood fiber LNG. So if I would just point that out to the gallery and to the people at home that there are some fairly important letters there that council has received regarding wood fiber LNG and the impact on how sound. In addition, Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so there's 4 letters there, but 3 of them actually relate to wood fiber LNG. Regarding the letters from residents, the themes there's 3 letters. The 2 of them express gratitude, appreciation, and recognition for council and staff and so on. So would like to point that out to you. In the event that there's some action requested, the policy is that will be referred to staff. But if it's an opinion expressed or a comment made, then that just is basically received, and all correspondence will be acknowledged and as appropriate, given whatever response we can. As I said, 2 of the 3 letters we're very appreciative of the work that's been going on, and particularly appreciative, and it's very timely in this meeting of our our CAO and also our new CFO. So I just wanted to point that out. The other letter expresses concerns that I believe has a number of opinions, and I believe most of the questions that addressed there have been addressed previously. So that's essentially not a long correspondence list tonight, but that's what appeared to be in correspondence for us. Okay, so I'd move that we receive the correspondence.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion
Okay,
carried.
thanks very much.
Okay, under new business, we had the report from the Lions Bay Connector, and this was brought out of closed meeting and into open. And the motion was to delay that project for a further 90 days. And do we have?
If I could speak to that, it was my motion.
Okay,
So moved Broughton, looking for a seconder to that the Lions Bay Connector project continue on hold for an additional 90 days.
okay, do we have a second?
Sure.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Or discussion? Why don't we have a discussion on that?
Okay.
Perhaps.
Well, we
I didn't want to cut you off.
Okay, sorry about that. Just speaking to the motion, we originally put a hold on the project on November the 4th, and that 90 days has expired. And I wish to not only continue the hold, but also there was a draft preliminary report provided to council on December the 20th. And it includes preliminary layouts and cost estimates and so on. And in the spirit of complete transparency, I think anything that we can bring to open, I would wish to do so. I know all council join me in that. So the second motion, second part is that the draft preliminary layout and cost estimate for the Lions Bay Avenue Connector project, which was provided to the village November the 1st of 2022, I'm sorry, not 2023, 2022, be brought into open meeting and made available for review once contractor propriety information has been redacted. Well, it has been brought into open meeting, and I'm asking that the materials be made available to the community once the contractor proprietary information has been redacted. And I think this will answer a number of questions that the community has. I note on some of the correspondence, there was a question about the roadway connecting Kelvin Grove to the village, which the resident believed was part of the connector. And upon review of the project, it is not there.
Okay.
So
all right,
anyway,
good comments.
move that as well.
Councillor Reuter or Abbott, any comments?
You good? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good with moving that. So suggestion, Michael, is it'll come to the next meeting in open correspondence, redacted with rates and stuff. And council will discuss next steps at the next meeting. Or are you suggesting that it's going to be to the public through a village update prior to that, or what exactly?
Either way, I'm open to the will of council on that one. Essentially, I wanted to get it into open so that people can review it. I'm recognizing that we're in a very busy cycle right now, whether we want to take this on, discussion of this on, or just have people have a chance to understand what it is and then move forward from there.
I think if we put that information out, we will be getting discussion from residents.
Yeah.
So if we're not ready to deal with it, be careful what you ask for.
Okay, so we had two motions on the table. First was to postpone it for another 90 days, further 90 days. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah, question?
Okay, all in
Yes.
favor?
In favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carried. Second was to bring out as much information as possible. If you have to redact some of the contract agreements,
Information.
fine, but bring it all out on the table, and that way the public has a chance to see it and discuss it. And
Could I pick up on Councillor Abbott's point and suggest that it be brought to the next council meeting, and then we can decide at that time, what to do with it from there.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
okay.
Yeah. Okay,
That's a motion.
that's a friendly amendment to my motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, good.
perfect, thank you.
All right, we'll move to the public questions. Those in the gallery. Give you the first opportunity. Any questions? Comment, sure. Take the
I just
podium.
wanted to say that I'm quite proud of all of you tonight. That was really so nice to watch in comparison to what we saw last time. So thank you very much. I don't know if everybody stopped and thought about what they were saying when they said it, but it came across to us, at least I think in the gallery, as much more amicable, and I appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions in the online gallery? Okay, I don't see any hands unless there's anyone else in the gallery. No. Okay, with that, we'll move to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Amazing.
all in favor?
Yes.
Carry.
Yeah.